Hi, I'm Dawn Damari, and you're listening to and watching another episode of A Teaspoon of Healing. I am a registered dietitian, specifically an integrative and functional registered dietitian, and I help women and men over 40 reach optimal health, heal their chronic gut issues, and lose weight while healing their relationship with food. So, this is going to be a nutrition focused podcast episode. And the topic is brain fog, and specifically banishing brain fog with nutrition and lifestyle. So, first of all, what is brain fog? Well, brain fog is a common complaint of many adults of all ages, but especially women in perimenopause. But what exactly is it? So, do you ever have days or times where you feel less alert than usual, or have trouble paying attention to or remembering things? Do you sometimes get a hazy feeling in your head or have trouble keeping track of time? You might be experiencing brain fog. Some symptoms of brain fog are confusion, forgetfulness, a lack of focus, and less mental clarity. Now, I do want to say this though brain fog is different than degenerative brain diseases like dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Having brain fog does not mean you have one of these conditions. Now, while there may be many different root causes that can contribute to brain fog, such as the wild hormonal fluctuations in perimenopause, chronic stress, undiagnosed sleep disorders like sleep apnea, undiagnosed ADHD, a diet that is high in ultra-processed foods, or gut health issues, there are some food and lifestyle changes that we can do to manage the symptoms of brain fog. So, research does show that you can boost your memory, help brain fog, and even prevent those degenerative brain diseases with nutrition and lifestyle. So, first of all, in general, anti inflammatory eating is really important. Eliminating ultra processed foods whenever you can. This is going to help support cognitive function. And before I talk about anti inflammatory eating, I really want to point out that identifying and avoiding your food sensitivities is also really important. Doing this will lower the inflammation in your body and in your brain and reduce the dietary triggers that worsen your brain fog. So, what is anti inflammatory eating? Well, it's pretty much what we all kind of hear what we're supposed to be eating. Lots of fruits and vegetables, lean meat, fish, whole grains, healthy fats, beans, lentils, herbs, spices, and also tea and coffee. Tea and coffee can be part of an anti-inflammatory diet as long as we don't have too much caffeine. So all of these things contain various nutrients. The plant components of the diet like this contains phytonutrients, and the plant materials, also the plant part of this diet also contains fiber, a lot of fiber to support a healthy inflammatory response. So one thing I do want to mention, I work with some women who are in perimenopause who have brain fog. This does not mean, having brain fog does not mean that you are in the early stages of dementia. A lot of people think this, and that this is going to be permanent. The brain fog is not going to be permanent. When you're in perimenopause, your hormones are shifting and fluctuating wildly. And when you do fully go through menopause and you go through the transition, your hormone levels are going to be lower, but they're not going to be fluctuating. And you may find, most people do find that their brain fog does level out and diminish. Now, of course, there are many other root causes of brain fog that I had mentioned earlier, but I did want to mention this, so some women are concerned about this. So here are some nutrition and lifestyle changes that can help banish brain fog and improve your memory. Adequate sleep is one of them. That's vital for our brain. Daily exercise, even a few minutes a day, can help support our hormonal balance and our gut health and inflammation. Managing the stress, we all have stress in our lives, but when we're in a chronic state of stress, we're in a chronic state of fight or flight. This is going to elevate our cortisol levels, which is a hormone that we experience when we're stressed. And if it's elevated all the time, that's going to impair our cognitive function. So, research shows that stress management resources, whatever you do, exercise, breath work, meditation, taking a walk, that's going to really help mitigate these risks to our bodies and our brains. So, gut health, dietary changes, which I'm going to talk about, and even some probiotics and prebiotics can help a lot of people who have gut related issues that could be contributing to their brain fog. So, some of the foods, what can help us with brain fog? The first thing I'm going to mention is protein, protein-rich foods. Protein is the second largest material in the brain, second only to water. So it's really important to nourish your brain with protein-rich foods. The proteins in our bodies and our brains also help our neurons within the brain communicate with each other through neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters are made up of amino acid, which come from protein. So eating a protein-rich diet will also help you manage your blood sugar, pairing that with fiber that's in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, beans. Those two things are going to help you manage your blood sugar, avoiding a lot of foods with a lot of refined sugars. The reason why fluctuating blood sugar is detrimental to our brains is because when we get a really low blood sugar, when you're high and then your blood sugar plummets, that can lead to a loss of energy and a lot of brain fog, haziness. You may even feel like you need to lay down. So, what are protein-rich foods? Meat, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, and dairy products like cheese, yogurt, and tofu. So, what are protein-rich foods? Protein-rich foods are lean meat, poultry, fish, shellfish, eggs, beans, dairy products, things like that. So again, fiber also helps with the blood sugar regulation, slows down the digestion of carbohydrates and absorption of sugar, keeps our blood sugar more stable. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA, boosts our brain function. And one of the best sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which I'll talk about in another podcast, is fish, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines. A lot of people don't like fish, so a high quality fish oil supplement could also help with this. Another mineral, actually, that's really important for our brain is iron. So, iron helps our body produce those neurotransmitters. It helps blood cells carry oxygen throughout our body, including our brain. So, this is going to help us be more sharp. So, iron rich foods, red meat, poultry, oysters, clams, and dark leafy greens, beans, and lentils. So, speaking of those dark leafy greens, kale, spinach, and broccoli are very high in vitamin E as well as folate. So, vitamin E is really important for our brain and all of our cells because they protect our cells against free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that attack cells in our body, and we're exposed to these free radicals all the time in our environment. Stress, pollution, even ultra processed foods. So, eating things with those antioxidants, vitamin E is one of them. And dark leafy greens is going to really help. Dark leafy greens also have a lot of folate. It's a B vitamin that helps with our brain development. Dark berries like blueberries and blackberries, very rich also in these antioxidants, which protect us against those free radicals. These are very powerful brain foods. And we can't really talk about the brain unless we talk about carbohydrates. There's a lot of fear about carbs right now. And, you know, I always tell people to focus on the complex carbohydrates and try to limit the refined carbs whenever you can. Refined carbs mean cakes, cookies, white bread, white pasta. Yes, they're delicious, but trying to limit those to keep your blood sugar stable, like I had said before. And the complex carbohydrates like quinoa, brown rice, fruits and vegetables, lentils, things like this, they digest slower, but we need carbs. We do need carbohydrates. Potatoes, a great source of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates really provide a steady supply of energy needed for a normal brain function. Another mineral that's really important is magnesium. That's found in spinach, beans, and seeds. Too low of a magnesium level is going to, if you're having a lot of stress, it's going to exacerbate your symptoms. So, magnesium is often depleted in our soil. So, many people do need to supplement. And I'll talk about that in another podcast. And a vitamin that's really helpful for brain fog is vitamin D. A lot of us have low vitamin D levels, especially in the winter if we work in an office all day. So, getting some sunlight when you can on a break, if you live in a climate that has a lot of sun, like where I live. Milk, dairy products have vitamin D. And also, a lot of people do need to supplement. And the last vitamin I'm going to talk about is a suite of vitamins, the B complex vitamins. So, B vitamins are really, really helpful for our brain, and they're essential for brain health. And if you have low levels of especially vitamins B12, B6, or folate, you may experience symptoms of brain fog. So vitamin B12 really found in rich amounts in animal products. But for the vegans out there, nutritional yeast is a great way to get vitamin B12. And for those of you who like clams and oysters, that's another way to get it. And folate, like I said before, it's really found very great amounts in dark leafy greens. And vitamin B6 you can find in many different foods, especially pork, liver, if you like that, beef, chicken, spinach, almonds. So some people do need to supplement the B vitamins, especially vegans, because a lot of the B12 is found in animal products. So if you are vegan and you do feel that you're experiencing some brain fog, consider supplementing with a B complex vitamin or getting a B12 shot or even just taking a multivitamin. A few other foods that are going to boost your brain health: eggs. Eggs have a lot of choline. Yeah, they're a little expensive in the stores right now, but trying to eat them once or twice a week can really help your brain. Nuts contain a lot of that vitamin E and other antioxidants, which are going to fight those free radicals and fight inflammation. It's just going to really be protective for our brains. Another one, and this is good news if you like chocolate, dark chocolate has a high amount of what's called flavonoids, and those can improve blood flow to the brain. The last food I'm going to mention is green tea. It's not really a food, it's something we drink. It's another brain booster, and there's some recent research on it that showed that it increased the alpha, beta, and theta levels in the brain, and that they measured people 1 hour after drinking green tea. So the increased theta waves in particular suggest that green tea may help with attention and alertness. And also a little bit of that caffeine is going to help with being more alert. So now that I talked about what to add to your diet to help with brain fog, what should we avoid? Well, this is the typical advice, right? Limiting ultra processed foods and limiting foods in a lot of added sugars and refined sugars. Yeah, sure, these taste great. I'm not saying you have to eliminate them. I eat them too, but moderation is key and trying to limit them as much as possible. Because diets, especially high in the refined sugars, they're going to worsen cognition due to the inflammatory effect that they have on the brain. Ultra processed foods as well, those are associated with inflammatory effects on the body and our brain. So when you eat a nutrient-dense diet that is high in fiber, protein, and antioxidants, and limit those ultra-processed foods and added sugars, you can feel more alert, aware, and focused. Now, I do want to mention working with a healthcare professional, especially one that can investigate the root cause of your brain fog, is really important because we do all these things with our nutrition and with our lifestyle. But if we don't really get to that root cause, then we may not have optimal results. So I do want to mention that. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you don't currently subscribe, please do so. It's available on all podcast platforms and it's on YouTube. And next week, I will be doing an interview with somebody. So stay tuned.